Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umbra Rants, and today we're talking about NeoVisions because of course we are. What else is there to talk about in Brave Exvius? I mean, there's the global news, but yeah, I don't really touch global anymore because I feel like I've just completely lost touch with it and everything's being power crept anyway. And the idea that Tifa might get global enhancements, and that's kind of scary too, because we've seen her NeoVision now. But yeah, I wanted to make a video about NeoVisions because I've already made the guide about it. There is a secondary guide that I do need to make about ability and upgrading abilities, but that's not what this is. This is the rant video. People say I do rants, so let me just rant, I guess, about stuff and the nature of things and NeoVisions in general. And yeah, I'm not doing this video to brag or anything like that. Obviously, everybody's luck is going to be different. Some people have, made new accounts and gotten multiple upon multiple of brand new clouds. Some people have been spending and getting very little. Some people have been spending and getting a lot. There's all kinds of stories out there. So really, the rates don't matter. We know what the rates are for NeoVisions. They are 1%. And we know that rainbows now are up to 10%. And hell, JP is getting a free month of summons to kind of pad out the idea of NeoVisions and let people get a potential chance to get a whole bunch of new NeoVisions before things probably settle down a bit and it becomes more difficult to pull other new NeoVisions that'll be coming in the future. And hey, we even have on the JP side a slight outline of when some new NeoVisions will be coming. The middle of this month, we'll see Dark Veritas get his new NeoVision. The end of the month, OG Cloud, yeah, the original Cloud unit, the very first Cloud is going to get a NeoVisions. And then at the beginning of next month, Lauren is going to get her NeoVision. And of course, I am expecting more NeoVisions and all of that kind of stuff. But here's the real question. Are NeoVisions worth freaking out about? And to me, so far the answer is no. And this is where I guess the rant comes in. Although I don't feel like, I feel in terms of like maybe my top 10 rants, this is going to be pretty low on the scale of outrageousness. But I just don't think that when it comes to NeoVisions that they are worth getting that mad about at this point. Yeah, it does take a ton of copies to maximize them, but hey, that's what 7 stars originally did. Hey, we wanted to get 7 stars super TMRs, because super TMRs were strong and incredibly powerful. And of course, when it comes to Brave Exvius, a lot of the attitude seems to be, hey, I need to get everything as quickly as possible. And if I can't beat something, then it's a problem with the game content or the problem that I didn't get the new unit. And to an extent, yeah, that is kind of true. Brave Exvius does tend to gear a lot of content towards newer units because it turns out that in business, you kind of need to sell your product. And the easiest way to sell a product is to create urgency. When I was a salesman, you kind of have to qualify what people already have and say, hey, you can heal all of your characters, but can you heal all of your characters and give an HP barrier? Well, let me tell you right now, when it comes right down to it, you don't need one of those NeoVisions that the other people are selling you. I want to talk to you about a certain unit called Sayaka. You know, Sakura and Ayaka, look how cute their sprite is. They come with all this utility. Isn't it nice when your healer can just do all this utility and damage on top of it? Don't you want this unit? Of course you do. You'd be a fool not to. When it comes to business, this and sales in general, this is kind of just how you do it. And gacha games always have this distinct advantage because not only are they creating the product that people want, in which case they do have a little bit of a helping hand in a game like this, where it's like, hey, Cloud, Tifa, Red 13, characters that you know from games that you like, so therefore you want them in this game too, well, it kind of helps too when you can just create the content for the game as well. When you are creating the content in the product, you can make it in such a way that everything is necessary, or everything is at least another level of comfort. And to me, circling back to it, that's what NeoVisions are right now. Just like at the time when 7 stars were introduced to the game, NeoVisions are ridiculously overpowered for the content that we currently have. We've seen, and it turns out that Cloud isn't the most overpowered thing. In the last few days, it has turned out that Tifa is the most powerful of the first 3 NeoVision units, a unit that was given out. Now you can look at it as the tinfoil hat theory of just being, hey, I mean, they gave out the strong one so that everyone would get a taste of it. And you can look at the other side of just being that Alum is potentially incompetent and didn't really know what they were doing, or possibly didn't even care. And it doesn't really matter. NeoVisions are incredibly strong and designed to be incredibly whaley because of course they are. In business, you don't push for your business to just constantly keep making money. Most businesses that don't expand and go further than what they have been doing tend not to last quite as long. Like it's always about driving sales further. It's all about getting more sales than you did the previous month, even if it seems impossible. The idea is crowding out your competition. The idea is just making it always that people need that next thing, planning things with expiration dates on them. Everything you buy nowadays, for the most part, has an expiration date on it. It just turns out that media is generally quicker because a lot of people are just, oh, well, I've watched it once. Why would I ever watch it twice? But I spent $20 on the DVD or Blu-ray. What are DVDs or Blu-rays prices? In Japan, they're expensive. But anyway, it is this kind of thing of just being like, you have to create a product. And so that is exactly what they have done with things like NeoVision Cloud, who is a very powerful unit and is potentially also very whaley too. You need many copies of him to max out, but there isn't a need for it right now. The only thing that could be potentially a need for it is just, maxing out dark visions potentially, or dunking on challenges that probably those people have already completed. That seems to be the thing. NeoVisions in general seem to be like for a free-to-player with characters such as Tifa, who with their limit burst and the most maxed out possible thing ever, being able to do 1.3 trillion, which is double of what Cloud can theoretically do, so there really isn't content for this yet. So yeah, like I've seen that some people have like freaked out about it in early days, and I think maybe over time it'll generally calm down. But Brave Exvius doesn't particularly go well. If you go and talk to like anybody who played Wotiv, who was a Brave Exvius player before, one thing that you kind of find generally in common is that they don't play Wotiv anymore. Wotiv is an incredibly slow game when it comes to progression. As such, the power creep is incredibly low. It does mean that units are expensive, but on the other side of that, the power creep is mostly in utility, if you look at it. Like, there's a problem with tanks. Well, we released Venera and Lucia, 2 characters who have defense piercing. That is a utility thing. It is not necessarily that the units have more stats. It is just that they have a lot of utility and can do something that other characters can't, providing a strategy thing, and it just takes a while to level these characters up. Whereas you look at Brave Exvius, the constant thing is just higher numbers, higher numbers, higher numbers in different categories, different things. There is, of course, utility when it comes to natural killers in the kit, like Tifa is really good versus humans. She is really good versus aquatics. And Cloud is very good against humans, and Red 13 is good against demons and Reapers and all of this stuff. So there is that bit of utility in all of this. And the reason that I'm saying this is because Votive and FFE, even though they are sister games, really have just two entirely different crowds to them. And that also makes it, this introduction of a system from Votive, seem incredibly frustrating at start because, again, when you think of the last character you got, how long did it take you to max them out? Like global people, whether you were talking about, let's see here. I don't know who, Valkyria profile characters, you know, like when you got that character, how long did it, like, take you to max out what was really important to start using them? Probably not that long after you pulled the damn character. And to this, the idea is you have to pull more copies and the rate are low, and that is just kind of against it. Long story short, because this is a rant and it does need to end at some point, is that overall from the last few days, a few things have been apparent. NeoVisions are a big step up from old characters. They are definitely eclipsing what other characters could and can do. Tifa especially. And we haven't even seen what it is. And to that point as well, we don't know just how bad NeoVision power creep will be. I certainly hope it won't be more insane than what we've already seen with Tifa. Before Tifa, the quintessential damage outputter was Zenyatta on the JP side. And she could do about 300 billion points of damage. Now Tifa could theoretically, with the optimal setup, do 1.3 trillion points of damage. And those numbers are insane. That's a trillion points higher damage just from this upgrade, because it's just percentages on percentages. And that's the way the game's going. So the question is, with NeoVisions, is the power creep going to slow down on the JP side? I certainly hope so. This is starting to feel really a lot like the Brave Frontier story, where characters just got insanely more and more powerful, and it was always just constant power creep. I have played both FFE and Votive for, as long as I could really have done. And Votive is a much slower game with longer term value characters, but the characters take a long time to max. Therefore, the power creep is not as bad, really, especially if you talk to any player of Votive, you will kind of know that. When it comes to Brave Exvius, on the other hand, it is constantly the treadmill of characters. So while NeoVisions are incredibly powerful, they just don't have any content. So if you're incredibly trying to be over-prepared for these characters on global, yeah, you can definitely do that. You can save all your Tifas now, save all your Red 13s, save up Lapis, pull NeoVision Cloud, and all of that stuff. But you should know that there just isn't anything really in terms of content. And really, it's kind of just helping free-to-players, especially with Tifa here, clear older content that they probably could not have reasonably done before. And that is probably where NeoVisions will be really useful. Whales will post incredibly high numbers and incredibly ridiculous feats of beating trials in a single turn with these NeoVision characters, while free-to-players will enjoy the fact that they could potentially clear content that they may not have been able to before, while mid-level and hardcore players who don't necessarily spend any or a ton of money will kind of get a little bit of an easier chance with it. Again, the only thing that I could really equate this entire 7-star NeoVision experience to is the actual introduction of 7 stars to Brave Exvius. It's a new, harder to obtain power level that requires more duplicates of characters, but the thing is that there really isn't anything, and it's far too early to tell whether the system is bad or not. Especially on the JP side, where again, we're getting a month of free 10 pulls every day, and with only Cloud in the pool, you really only need to hit that 1% once. You're getting a total of what? About 300 summons. By odds and statistics, you should hit one NeoVision, which will give you a cloud, or a potential other pure NeoVision that will be coming out in the future. Either way, my overall message to both Globalers and JP players is that I don't think that it is worth the panic over. I don't think that it is worth fretting that much about, because the system is still far too new, and if you really have to max out a character that much, and you will spend money to max out the character that much, then congratulations. Allen's and Gummy definitely got you on that one. So let me know what, if you've been playing on the JP side, what is your opinion of NeoVision so far? Do you really think that they are absolutely necessary? Because that's an interesting counter opinion. But only time will tell, and either way, games are supposed to be fun, and just enjoy this period right now where you get a free Tifa who can do, in theory, 1 trillion damage. Thought we'd have to wait till the 5th anniversary to get here, but here we are. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.